What's up, guys? So this is the part 2 to the Gabby Hanna saga series thing. Train wreck. This is part 2 to the train wreck. And um, so I really wish that Jen's video had come out first before Alyssa's, but we kind of needed Alyssa's to kickstart Jen's, so I understand like the relevance of Alyssa's video needing to be out there. Like it just kind of set everything into motion. But that's why I'm uploading it in the order that I'm uploading mine into. Um, is because I think once you have the information that Jen has provided in our first coverage of this starts making more sense. This video that you're about to see is going to start making more sense. And this is the Adam McIntyre reacting to Alyssa Perrine. He took it off of his YouTube, but it's still up on his Twitch, which I don't know if that means that he genuinely like stands by it, but only to specific fans. Like he just he doesn't want everybody on YouTube to see it. Usually the muckers, like the hardcore muckers, are on his Twitch. And so like I don't know, like I'm pretty sure you can remove a live stream off of your Twitch. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you can select like to remove a live stream off of your Twitch. And it's still up there. So I don't know if that is like his way of saying that he stands by what he said, but only to a specific audience, which is, if that's the case, it's giving Gabby Hanna to an extent. And I don't like that because I am a mucker. Like I follow Adam, I follow Peter. I'm a granny panty, I'm a mucker, so I really hope that's not the case. I can't say for certain. I'm not sure. I'm not Adam. I'm not in his head. Um, but I know that it's still there, and that's how I was able to get a hold of it. And I have just captured the part. I think it was like a 2.5 hour, and it was around, I think it was like 2.5, 3 hour um, long stream. It might have been 4 hours, but around the 2.5-ish hour mark is where, excuse me, is where he starts talking about Alyssa Perrine. This was the main video that he removed from the YouTube, so I didn't feel the need to cover anything else that was within this live stream. I just wanted to grab what was relevant. Situations are unfortunate. The fact that Jen has been through as much as she's been through, the fact that Alyssa has come out to say some of the things that she said. We're going to address them. I mean, Jen has addressed some of them, and some of it may be rehashed in this video, and then we'll be able to add context now. Given the information that we have from Jen's video, we'll be able to add context into what Alyssa is explaining here, and kind of understand. And I believe I mentioned this in the video I covered Jen's I guess expose of Gabby Hanna and the fandom. You kind of understand a little bit more why Alyssa thought that her actions were validated. And it's not an excuse and it doesn't make it right. She has taken accountability somewhat in the past for some of her behaviors. She has not taken any accountability in this video for her behaviors. And Adam McIntyre, again, I'm a mucker, dude. And I'm not the only one. We're all kind of waiting for you to address this. And I think what's kind of frustrating to some of your fans, Adam, is, and I'm not saying this to be a bitch, I'm not saying this to be mean or cruel or rude or anything of the sort. We saw you cover the Jackie Ina and James Charles Spirit Airlines situation, and you were in full support of Jackie Ina responding to James. I mean, we kind of all were, and we knew that it was pretty damn rough if Jackie Ina was speaking out against James Charles because of some of the controversies that she had had, and you reacted to that controversy with Paige Christie and addressed and said, you know what, I think I might be wrong. I think I might not have the whole story with Jackie Ina, so let's look at the whole story and get a better picture. And we all kind of watched you do that. So that's what I think that's what a lot of us were waiting for you to do with the Alyssa situation, and instead, what we got was you making this, having this live stream, putting it onto YouTube, and then deleting it rather than ever addressing it. For someone like you, and we're going to talk about the nuance of it all because I know that there is some, Adam, but for someone like you who is very keen on justice and speaking out, taking accountability, that sort of thing, it's unlike you. It's not within your character to make something disappear or avoid it entirely. Now, your audience, it's not just me. There are other muckers too. If you guys are here, raise your hand, say, I'm a mucker. If you've been asking for Adam to come forward and address this, a lot of us have, Adam, and it's not out of cruelty. We just want to see you be an example. I want to bring a little bit of awareness to it, maybe a call to action for Adam himself, and react to and add some nuance to the full story of Alyssa Perrine as reacted to by Adam McIntyre, which is now being reacted to by me. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Open tabs, late night spiral, every clip, same tired title. I'm just honest, I'm just real, but you twist that word like a steering wheel. Screenshots burn in the group chat, you go live, then you backtrack, spin that story, change that frame, then cry with her when we say your name. This ain't a breakdown, it's a brand. Turn your damage into demand. Every teardrop, sponsored plan. You say you're sorry, but you never take a stand. You keep screaming, I'm the victim here, but your friends all disappear. You rewrite it every year, same old script, zero blame in the mirror.
Okay, so now that we're back from the little Cody Tyler deep dive, let's get into this Gabby Hanna fan and Cody's drama. Okay, so again, if you don't know, this video was emailed to me because Cody Tyler is apparently beefing with this person who was like, I escaped the Gabby Hanna fandom, Alyssa. Whoever this is, I haven't watched this video yet. We're going to watch it all together. Cody should name their channel KodeeReads. So Cody commented and said... Now, where are you? Really interesting that I do not see Jen Dent's comment. Well, Cody, I can't see any of my comments on your shit either. You remember her, right? The woman you accused of assault with no evidence. Cody, this is one...
Now, I will say, Cody has a point here. Sad but true. Miss Cody Rants has a point. And Alyssa commented on it. Adam's about to read it.
day ago. Why are you being messy and fighting with people? $12 minutes ago. Oh, this Lexi. Marie? 12 minutes ago. Not KodeeReads showing up like this. Do you remember the shit you did to Adam McIntyre during the... Sorry, this is a fresh mucker comment. You remember, right? Accusing him and other YouTubers of bullying you when you were also in group chats with minors. Really interesting, isn't it, Cody? Oh my God. Alyssa, the person responded. Oh! Mind you, aren't you the person who lied about a sexual assault survivor and tried to tell their story for them? Explains a lot because Jen Dent harassed R-word survivors and tells them that she doesn't care that they were R-worded. She's going to harass them anyway. Not to mention doxed Gabby's email address to her fan base when she shouldn't have been talking to us in the first place. Why do you think it's okay for 50-year-old women to contact minors? Why do you think it's okay for a 50-year-old woman to be shaming someone's R-word story in DMs when it's theirs, not theirs to share?
I just, can we pause? Because why is she bringing Jen up as far as sharing someone's story when isn't that exactly what Gabby did to Jesse in the public group chat on Patreon. Isn't that the same thing? Like, she literally said that Jesse used her R word for clout. I don't know, bruh. I don't know. That seems kind of, I don't know. I don't know. It seems kind of hypocritical to me.
Why is she sharing Gabby's story of abuse to fans? Why is she calling the phone call napalm?
Okay, but this is what's crazy. So in this video, Alyssa's going to say that she stepped away from the Gabby fandom, that she couldn't defend Gabby anymore. What is this? What is this? What is this? Why is she sharing Gabby's story of abuse to fans? Why do you, if you are no longer in the fan base, in the fandom, you don't like Gabby anymore, why are you invested in what is currently or what has happened to Gabby when you're just like, no, that was so parasocial and unhealthy. I had to get out. Ma'am, ma'am, make it make sense. Make it make sense.
And treating a serious accusation as some method to take down Gabby Hanna.
But wait. Didn't y'all sling a serious accusation toward Jen to try to take her down? I beg your pardon. A whole false claim, false accusation went viral on Twitter because at Gabby's behest. She told a fan, tweet this out, make it go viral. Without any proof or any evidence, when she should have just kept her mouth shut and been like, I don't know if that's true or not. Let the authorities handle it if it is. But instead, Gabby weaponized her fan base, meaning you, Alyssa, and Gracie, and Prince, and so many others. And since y'all, like, your letters say that she mobilized y'all, right? Yeah. And so she did that. And for what purpose might that have been? To ruin Jesse and Jen Dent, correct? But now we're mad at Jen for trying to hold Gabby accountable, for trying to take her down because cancel culture is real, right? We're still mad about that. But you're not part of the fandom anymore. You don't support Gabby anymore, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting. It's very telling what happens in your comment section in regards to the video you just made. We're going to get into far, far more than that because, ooh, when I tell y'all that Jen's video is going to come into play here, I'm not kidding.
Why was she in my personal DMs telling me, sorry, I never wanted to sue you? Do you want me to sing music in my carpool karaoke? Why is Jen Dent somehow an even worse person than Gabby Hanna herself? Cody, first of all, Cody Tyler.
And I didn't see that earlier that way. And I don't, because this is a recording of like a screen grab essentially of this, I don't want to have to backtrack. But you just heard Adam say, why is Jen Dent a worse person than Gabby Hanna herself? Hold, please. Hold, please. Because when I first heard that, I was just like, oh, she's saying that Gabby is worse than Jen. No. No. I thought she was being sarcastic. Like, why is Jen worse than Gabby herself? Like, Gabby's so horrible. I thought for a second like she was throwing a little bit of sarcasm and shade at Gabby, but no, she's literally asking, why is Jen Dent worse than Gabby Hanna herself? Like, genuinely, like, why is Jen Dent so bad? And hi, I just, what? What? So you're out of the fandom. You can't support Gabby. We're going to beat this horse. It's going to be dead, and then I'm going to keep beating it. I'm telling y'all this now. This is your warning. We have left the fandom. We have talked shit about Gabby in this video. Miss Alyssa has. Dogged the absolute crap out of Gabby. Said that she left the fandom. She can't support Gabby anymore. Gabby's a horrible person. And then comes back in her comments to defend her. Not only that, but then to, after she posts this, start trolling Jen like she's back in the fandom again. Starts trolling Jen on Twitter. Fat shaming her. Age shaming her. 9 kinds of other crap. Oh, yeah, I understand why Adam would have wanted to take this off of YouTube. I get it. I understand that. I'm asking him to address it. That's all I'm asking, is to him be like, hey, I didn't know. And now that I know, like, here's my newest statement. Cool. I ain't mad at Adam. I know why he took this down, because this was a bad look for him. I ain't mad at Adam. Not one bit. I'm like a little bit disappointed, but I'm not mad at him. But Miss Alyssa, if you can't make this make sense. See, what I think happened here is she wasn't the last one to leave the fandom. The fandom fell apart because Gabby was no longer online. A whole bunch of stuff started coming out, and Gabby knew that the best thing that she could do was to run and hide. So the fandom fell apart. People started listening to who? Wait, huh? Jen and Hello Leash and Jesse and Trish. People started listening to these people that had been affected by Gabby Hanna, and they started falling off of the fan base. Alyssa was the last one to fall off the wagon. And I don't think she voluntarily fell off the wagon. I think she really didn't have much of a choice because the fandom was falling apart. And I think her last grab to potentially become famous was to make a video about Gabby Hanna and the fandom. Because exposing Gabby is all the rage, right? It's what makes you money and makes you famous, right? And I think that's why she did it. I could be wrong. Alyssa, please let me know, sweetheart. Please let me know. Because I can't understand why you would continue to defend Gabby after you sat here and said how horrible of a person she was, how she mobilized y'all, how she treated y'all, how inappropriate she was, X, Y, and Z throughout this video. And then you still defend her. Like, is it Stockholm Syndrome, sweetheart? Like, I want to know. I want to understand, because how can you in one breath say, I'm done with this person, and then in the next say, I defend her because Jen is worse? Can you please explain to the class why Jen is worse?
You are too grown. Stop fighting with, like, I don't know what age this Alyssa person is. You look younger than me. You look younger than me. You look young. Kodee, really? Really? Grow up. Grow up. Your life revolves around fighting with children. Jesus Christ. Now, again, yes, vlogging every day on my second channel, link down below. It is a hood over there. And also, I'm doing a show in Canada. It's my last show. So July 18th, it's recapping the last year of internet drama. Use code KodeeReads for 25% off.
While he's about to take a breath, by all means, go support Adam. Go follow him on his channel. Again, I'm not mad at Adam. I'm not bashing Adam. I'm not sitting here dogging Adam. I'm simply asking Adam to say, hey, I was wrong. This was my stance then. This is my stance now. This, after all of the things that I have learned, I have grown. I have changed my mind. This is how I now feel about the situation. That's all a lot of us muckers are asking for. So if you guys want to go support Adam, absolutely, please do. He covers a lot. He covered the Drake Bell situation. He covered the Colleen situation, which was, he was involved in that. He covered that. He covered the new Joshua David Evans situation. He covered Def Noodles. I think he just did some Ned Fulmer stuff. He has, I want to say he covered JoJo Siwa as well. I want to say that was one of his recent ones. So by all means, and like I said, he covered the Jackie Ina, James Charles. Like, go watch his channel, subscribe if you want to. He's awesome.
Cody, really? Now, let's get into this. So obviously a fan of Gabby Hanna's who's speaking up. All right, let's get into it. I want to hear the mic.
I'm also going to say, unfortunately, because this is a video that Adam reacted to, that I am now reacting to. Like, her video is 25 minutes long. Adam's portion of this is 40 minutes long. So, because I'm having to react to Alyssa and to Adam in this to essentially stand by the whole fair use situation, um, it's going to be a long video. I mean, you guys kind of sat through 2 hours of me talking about Jen, so I am anticipating it being roughly around that time frame, about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Um, Hopefully, I can cut some of it down in editing, but we'll see. But let's get into this.
Fan of Gabby Hanna's was genuinely fun at first. Being a fan of Gabby Hanna's was genuinely fun at first. It felt like being in on something and understanding her in a way that other people just didn't get. There was this energy in the fandom, very protective, very defensive. It felt
This person looks very
you
young.
know? Like we were standing up for someone we genuinely thought was misunderstood. But I don't think we talk enough about the other feelings that were there at the time as well. Because low-key, we were really scared of her. And it wasn't this, she's so terrifying thing. It was like, you didn't want to be noticed for the wrong thing. You didn't want to disagree too loudly. I remember seeing how she responded to criticism, even small criticism, and thinking,
What age is this person? You look very, very, very young. And I don't know what age this person is, but this person looks very young. And to look very young and be talking about being on the other side of it.
So he's about to find out. He doesn't know yet. He's about to find out. I know a lot of people have seen this video before he took it down. He's about to find out that they're going to say in the chat that she's 18. She's not 18 in this video. She's 24 in this video. She was 18 when she joined the fandom. The timeline will start to make a little bit more sense as we go forward. She was young when she joined the fandom, but she was not a minor or a child. And we're going to get into the nuance of that as well. And that's how I'm approaching this entire video, is with nothing but nuance.
Well, you have my support. You have my support.
okay, so this is what happens when you step out of line. And I told myself it wasn't fear. It was just respecting Gabby. It was her having boundaries, or whatever she wanted us to believe. There was also this unspoken rule.
People commenting 6, 7 likes. 6, 7. You know what? There you go. There you go.
That you don't call her out, because if you do, there's a very real chance she might unfollow you. And to us, that was everything. Like, oh no, a creator unfollowed you. But when you're in the midst of it,
Defending Alyssa here. People hear that and they're like, well, why would you care about an unfollow? Why would you care about the person not liking you anymore or whatever? You have to understand, I know a lot of you will get it because, again, the Colleen of it all, me talking, it's like fully being cut off from like an entire social circle that you've built up because this person is at the top of the pyramid, i.e. in this instance, Gabby. So again, a lot of people will probably, okay, but Cody finding this and commenting at her grown age, it has 1,000 views. Cody Tyler is a fucking loser.
it doesn't feel small. Being followed by her meant something to us. It meant you were a good fan. You were on the right side of history. So people are really
I believe it.
what kept you there and what got you pushed out to the side.
Now, I will say, when I had to grab my chapstick. When Gabby was in her peak era, we'll say, you did, like, she was getting subscribers after subscribers. She was making it big, especially out there in California when she moved out there. I mean, after Vine days, when she swept over to YouTube, oh yeah, everybody from Vine followed her over there now. I was not a follower of her Vines. I wasn't even a follower of her initially on YouTube. I didn't find her until much later. I think I was in my late 20s when I found her. And sadly, I think I said this in Jen's video, I resonated with her because of some of the things that she had been through, some of the ways that she handled situations. And I'm just like, oh, okay, well, she seems to be successful. Like maybe the way that I handled the situation wasn't so bad either because I reacted in a similar way. And that wasn't correct. That was not correct. Um, but when she was in her prime, when she was in her peak era, because of how much validation she was getting, because of how many followers and how much success she was having on YouTube, you would feel like you were on the right side of history by following her because this was up until the point that she became problematic. Once the problematic things began to happen, it was almost like the Jaclyn Hill of it all. One thing after another, after another, after another, just began to pile and pile and pile and pile and pile until you just had no choice but to sit there and face it. Whether you wanted to or not, you had to acknowledge it. And if you acknowledged it and still supported her, then essentially you were seen as being just as guilty as her.
You could joke, you could defend, you could laugh.
Adam, she's 18. How do you know that? Really?
She is not 18. She is 24.
If that is, I mean, I believe it.
If I was just looking at her, I would assume she was 18 as well. 17, 16, 17, 18. Part of me is trying not to be too terribly biased because she speaks about her neurodivergence, but being in the Gabby fandom, seeing the episode that Gabby had when she made the videos, I think it was like 5 or 6 videos. It was like a docu series. When she made her series exposing everybody, she was constantly Gabby was leaning on her ADHD as like, I'm ADHD. I have so many tabs open. I'm so quirky. I have ADHD. And it's just like, okay, cool. We heard you the first 15,000 times, girl. And it almost started coming across as, you can't be mad at me. I have ADHD. And then once she had her manic episode, it was like, you can't be mad at me. I was in a mental state. And the drama channels wouldn't even touch her at the time. The T channels, the drama channels, nobody would touch her at the time because they were just like, we don't want to affect her livelihood. Like, we don't want to affect her ability to continue living. You say you're in a delicate state? All right, we backed off. We're not going to say anything to you. We're not going to say anything about you. We don't want to trigger you. They were so respectful. And it's almost like, from what I've seen on Alyssa's Twitter, being in the fandom, it can become very easy to feel validated by someone who is neurodivergent, if you're neurodivergent as well. And when you see them kind of using it as an excuse for their behavior and they get away with it, it can be validating for you as a neurodivergent person to use your neurodivergence as an excuse for your behavior. And I'm not saying for sure that that's what Alyssa is doing here, but given what I've seen on her Twitter, that's kind of how it's reading, at least to me personally. Again, I could be wrong. We should celebrate our diversities. Absolutely. The things that make us unique and different. I don't think we should make it our whole personality. I think there sometimes can be a fine line. But if we're already sitting here in the comment section still defending Gabby after we've left the fandom, I kind of don't feel like it's that far of a stretch to say that the habits that Gabby had might have rubbed off on Alyssa, especially given the fact that Alyssa was essentially the ringleader. If what Jen has said in her video is to be believed and true. And as I've stated before, things that Jen has said I've been able to pull up in a quick Google search or find receipts of online. So I'm inclined to believe Jen. It's very dangerous territory. This is why I say there's nuance here. And I will fully extend the grace to Alyssa and say that you can be a victim of a fandom. You can be a victim of Gabby Hanna while also being a villain to Jen. Two things can be true at the same time. Those two things can be true at the same time. Absolutely.
It makes me so sad because it's like, this full generation of YouTubers, the Colleen's of it all, Gabby's in that time period as well,
Yep.
are now having their fans speaking up who are only about 18 themselves. Like when they get to 18, they speak up. I mean, I was like 17, 18 as well. And it's like, what the fuck were that generation of YouTube doing to their fans? Did they think they were going to get away with it forever?
Up along at her, but as soon as you got too critical, that's when things changed and she was no longer on your side.
I believe
know
it.
For me, there were moments I wanted to say something, not even anything harsh, but I did.
One thing I'll say is Gabby absolutely, she thrived off of yes men and echo chambers. If you disagreed with her, you were automatically a bad person, an enemy, and I mean, you were public enemy number one if you disagreed with her when it came to that fandom. Because when they rode for Gabby, they rode hard.
Because I cared more about staying in her orbit than saying what I actually thought.
Yep.
And the thing is, it's not like nobody ever said anything either. People did, just not for long, really. Because once you called her out, it didn't turn into a conversation. It turned into silence. Like, complete silence. No likes, no replies, no notifications from her, nothing. Sometimes this...
And again, I just want to clarify that if you've never been in stan culture, this seems very surface level, but again, just want to let you know that being interacted by the celebrity, the influencer, is how all of your online friends will treat you as well in that social circle. And it is like a hierarchy that this is a big problem whenever you're in stan Twitter. I know you all get it, but just to clarify, because I know there'll be people that'll be like, this isn't a big deal or whatever like that. People said it to me as well, but you have to understand the orbit that these people, including me, are in, you know?
happened for months. And
it's like, no, I get it. Someone you admire not liking you personally is hard. It's not that. It's someone that you admire liking you, but then using that as a weapon to not like you, love you, hate you, you know.
And
Not only that, but they were using it as a weapon to do their bidding. Especially Gabby. Like, she would say, oh, well, if you really are a supporter of me, go do this. And, like, I really care about you guys, so I'm going to say this. Or I'm going to make a video about this because I care so much about you guys. Or I'm going to FaceTime y'all because I care about you guys. You guys are so special to me. So I'm going to FaceTime these people. And there was absolutely a hierarchy in the Gabby Hanna void. Because the viewers, there were some that were like me. We would just watch for the content. We watched for the story time. Like, we had our own niche of why we watched Gabby. Like, we would watch her cleaning. We would watch the story times. We would watch the get readies with me. Like, there were different people for different things that Gabby would do, different viewers, different audiences. And that's what I would call it, is like you had your main audience, then you had your fans, then you had your stans, and that was the hierarchy. And it was bad. Like, especially around the time that the whole allegations against Jen came out, the false allegations against Jen came out. Oh, yeah. Just go on Twitter. All you had to do was go on Twitter.
no, this sounds not important. But to us, when that is the thing we rely on.
Alyssa girl, I get it. I really do get it. I truly get it. Being in it, you get it. That's so funny. I just said that. We're one and the same here. Alyssa saying exactly what I said. Like, this might not seem that big of a deal. Alyssa, we see each other. We see each other.
On her just cutting that off, it feels very intentional. One of the biggest moments
it
for
is,
me,
by the way.
and the one that I tried not to think about too much because it was just so much, was the Rachel Oates book poetry thing. Because, oh my god, let's get into that.
Ooh!
At the time, we thought the
everything.
dynamic was really clear. Gabby's poetry book, or so she claimed, was about really deep, personally traumatic things in the mind.
Not or so she claimed. Alyssa, you're already proving to be a little diva.
Mindset of a child. So it came off really stupid and childish because it was. But that's not the point. The point is Rachel made.
See, this is what I'm talking about. She is like dogging Gabby, which, I mean, the whole internet has taken their turn to do the same. But you were a diehard stan, sweetheart. She's dogging the crap out of Gabby. And then in the comments, still defending her and saying that Jen is so much worse. Like, girl, what? Girl, what? And on Twitter. Girl, what?
A parody book of this, and since we viewed it as a very traumatic book, we took this very bad.
And also, they were all
very
kids.
Offended by this. Like, why would you make poetry out of somebody's trauma? Like, not your own trauma. Not like you're making a joking book about somebody's trauma. or so we thought. So people really defended Gabby for this. But when I went back and reread Adultolescence without that framing in my head, some things really didn't line up. If something is being presented as a
It's a bunch of bullshit, right, Alyssa?
I will also say Gabby Hanna, Gabby had a horrible, 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 horrible habit of taking every criticism, even if it was a gentle negative comment, as like this soul crushing, terrible thing. And she spun it that way. Like Rachel Oates critiquing, she's a book critic. Her critiquing Gabby Hanna's book that Gabby Hanna sent her. Her critiquing it to Gabby because she said, hey, it doesn't follow, like, if we're looking at poetry, it doesn't follow the cadence and the rhythm that typical poetry should. And maybe that's not what you were going for, but even in free form, there has to be a certain cadence or rhythm so that you can read it. And this doesn't have that. It's kind of all over the place. It was constructive criticism. And Gabby saw it as just negative feedback, bullying, and straight up criticism. And like she was shitting on Gabby specifically. And then she called Rachel Oates a dumb bitch. Because yes, Gabby, that's going to help your claim so much. And saying how much of a bully she was, and then dogging Rachel for critiquing her book that she sent Rachel. And then when Rachel made a video about it, like, girl, what are you doing? Gabby doubled down again and bullied her some more, and then sent her stands to be like, she's over here making a parody book off of my trauma. And it's like, no, girl, she didn't make a parody book of your trauma. She made a book inspired by adultolescence because it was a lot of foolishness. And she said her dog could write poetry better. And was a funny, ha-ha, tongue-in-cheek, look at what my dog wrote. That could have been a great thing for you, Gabby. You could have been like, oh my God, that's so funny. But no, you took it as a slight, and you took it as a personal offense, and you took it as far worse than just constructive criticism. Girl, because you sent it to a book critic. She critiqued it. What do you think a book critic does?
A bunch of bullshit. My favorite, one thing I will say that I really loved about the Chronically Online tour, it was so fierce to get up every night and read Gabby Hanna poetry. It was so fierce. It was so fierce. I loved it so much. It was so much fun. No matter what the show was, it always got a reaction because it's horrifying. Time is relative. Family is relatives. The page where she's like, I ran out of time, so I had to just do this. She should be arrested. She should be in prison for that book. That book has sold copies.
Deeply trauma-centered work, you expect that to be reflected throughout it, and it just wasn't. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing personal in it. Don't get me
There might be personal things in it, but I think it's all shitty.
wrong. There are some mental health poems that relate
I like sleep. Sleep is neat.
to Gabby in the book. But I am saying the way it was phrased to us
And by the way, art, if you're charging for it as well and people are buying it, every right to be critiqued.
was not
Agreed.
entirely true. And because of that, we framed Rachel like she had done something genuinely bad, when in reality, all she did was write a parody book about her dog. Her fucking dog. That's what
And by the way, parody has been around for donkeys.
Can we talk about Weird Al? Did you see Avril Lavigne getting pissed off that Weird Al made Constipated to the tune of Complicated? Like, I can't. I can't with, like, the reasoning of the Gabby Hanna. I cannot. I cannot. I've never been able to. I just sat and watched the train wreck because, well, it was entertaining and it was COVID. Yeah, I'm gonna watch the train wrecks. I'm gonna be the first one to admit it. People troll for funsies. Trisha Paytas did it for years and she was successful at it. I think Gabby tried and she just wasn't successful, so then she got mad. And then she made music. And then nobody liked her music. And then she got mad about that. And then she wrote books and nobody liked her books. And then she got mad about that. Like,
It's very common.
We were
wild.
upset over.
You should read Trisha. You should have read Trisha's poetry too.
Speaking of
Oh, we
Trish.
did on stage. Who here went to a show? And if you did, tell me what show. We read Trisha's on stage. It was vulgar.
I believe it.
It was a vulgar.
Most fans didn't come to this conclusion on their own. They were guided by Gabby. And I think that's the first time I really realized we weren't defending her. We were being mobilized. At the time, even then I thought it was excessive. That's why I never really got involved. It was horribly wrong of Gabby, but
It's just so upsetting to know that, like, there were... Thank you all for coming to the show. It's just super weird and embarrassing to think of, like, Gabby Hanna, like, radicalizing a bunch of fans, allegedly, to, like, do her dirty work for her and fight for her. And this is exactly the Colleen all over again. And by the way, in the next couple years, as these fans grow up, we're going to see more and more of that generation of YouTubers who apparently were just fucking freaks and, like, weaponized this parasocial audience to, like, have a cult that would attack people.
Literally. And that was the one thing that, like, as I'm pretty sure I said this in my video when I covered the public Patreon chat, that it was like Colleen, because there were so many, I mean, youngins, absolute, like, teeny boppers, 14, 15, 16, 17. I feel for Jackson. Because given what we know about Gracie, that's kind of what Jackson was asking for. Like, Jackson wanted to be her editor. Jackson wanted to be really important to Gabby. And Gabby would give him, like, accolades and validation. And he wanted to essentially be the next Gracie. And he was hoping that someday, like, he would be seen more by Gabby and be appreciated more by Gabby and by the fandom. It's so sad. And, like, some of the people in that group chat, I'm not going to call anybody by names, talking about they were going to go on a strike of hunger, waiting on Gabby to release another video, waiting on Gabby's next upload. There were people that were saying that they were going to fall back into their EDs for Gabby, like, in dedication to her. And rather than her addressing any of it, she made the whole thing about herself and then brought up Jessie and brought up Trisha. These are children. These are children dedicated to an adult figure who are not mentally capable of having their frontal lobe fully developed, full faculties and full reasoning, making decisions. And maybe they were trolling and maybe they were lying, but what if they weren't? Being so dedicated to a fan base, to an influencer, that it could affect their actual life. That's terrifying.
for years I felt slighted by Rachel for some reason. Like she had done something. She hasn't. She did nothing wrong. And I just hate the way Gabby put a bad taste in my mouth when I hadn't even watched her videos and still haven't to this day. I might have really liked them. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a book person. I know, my room's a mess. But
You would love Cody Tyler. New book channel, I
I'm
hear.
a book person. I love books. So, like, I would love Rachel's content.
Okay, so this is the point where I'm just like, girl, if you would love Rachel's content, then go watch it. You're an adult. You're an adult, Alyssa. You're fully capable of making up your own mind and going and watching any YouTuber that you want to.
And I think that's the part that bothers me now, is how normal it all felt. Like, it felt completely reasonable that we were constantly defending her and protecting her. But when I step back and look at it, the dynamic is kind of backwards. We were her audience. She was the 30-year-old woman. A lot of us were young, impressionable, and trying to figure out what was...
Okay, so when this was happening back in 2020, she's saying I was freshly 18. That was in 2020. Well, this is now 2026. She's around 24 years old. Give or take when her birthday falls. I'm not sure of her birthday. So her birthday falls later in the year. She's about to be 24 years old. Either way, here you go. Like, she was freshly 18. She's roughly 24 now. An adult. I think that's important to note.
right and wrong in real time. Why?
Now, hold on.
We were her audience. She was the 30-year-old woman. A lot of
To be exact, one of my followers, from 2020 just turned 18.
us were young, impressionable, and
I was freshly 18. People in the group chat were 14 to 17 that Gabby was active in every day.
That's what I'm saying. That too is what I'm saying. Like 14 to 17. Give or take. That's accurate when it comes to the Patreon chat. That's very accurate.
Oh my God. Literally.
It's so inappropriate.
This is just so creepy and fucked up. Why do these, and it's always like a 30-year-old woman, want to be in these group chats with fans who are early teens? It's so creepy.
It's
like,
very creepy.
Do you have friends?
No, she didn't have friends. I mean, in 2020, she had Peyton. But she had Peyton and Irene that I knew of. She thought she had Trisha. She had like multiple friends. I think she was friends with David Dobrik. She was friends with Shane Dawson. And then Irene fell off. And then Peyton fell off. And those were the last two that were remaining. Now she's got Robbie. And whoever else is in PA with her that is going along with the shit show. So no, at this point, not really. No, she didn't have friends. She chased the validation of teenagers because they couldn't see through her bullshit.
Gabby, I knew this day would come. I knew this day with Gabby would come. I knew it. Because the way her fans defend her, I knew there was something deeper to it.
I'm trying to figure out what was right and
No
wrong
wonder she went and found God.
in real time. Why did it feel like we were responsible for protecting her? And within all of that, there's the obvious favoritism. Like, there were just certain people in the fandom who got more likes, more replies, more validation, and personalized FaceTime calls with Gabby.
Like, okay, maybe. Maybe we're at a complete lack of words moment. But it's reading to me, given the context and what I know now, as bitter and a little bit of jealousy. Now, the words that she just said was FaceTime calls. This is why I wish that Jen's video had been uploaded first, like before Alyssa Perrine had a chance to bring this up, but it couldn't have because this is what kickstarted Jen. I understand how the timeline works. It's fine. But that's why I uploaded Jen's video first, because now we can understand, based on Jen's video, now we can understand that who she is actually talking about in this moment is Gracie. We know that Gracie was in FaceTime calls with Gabby. Now we know that she's talking about Gracie. And for her to have been the ringleader and the one that essentially helped rally the troops, I could understand why she might be a little bit resentful, jealous, bitter, jaded. I can understand it. Doesn't make it right, but I can understand it. I can empathize with that because, like, you would probably feel slighted by Gabby, especially if you were a ride or die, die-hard stan, and you had been there every step of the way. Yeah, I could understand that.
And it wasn't random. It was very clear what the messaging was. The more money you pay to my Patreon, the more access to me personally you get. It is so fucking parasocial beyond belief, I can't even begin to put it into words. Because when attention is the reward and silence is the punishment, favoritism is what keeps the system running. And there are moments...
Hello?
And what will happen because of that is, because of the favoritism, is infighting. So you will have stans competing with other stans for Gabby's attention to see if they get the FaceTime call, to see if they get a personalized phone call, to see if they get one-on-one attention from Gabby to see if they can get Gabby in their DMs. Like they will chase that down and essentially compete with each other and be like, "No, I'm the biggest stan. No, I'm the biggest stan. No, 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 I'm the biggest stan. Well, what have you done? Well, I did this back in 2018. Okay, well, what did you do? Well, I did this and this back in 2017 for Gabby, and I did this for Gabby, and I did that for Gabby, and then my dedication stretches to here for Gabby." So you have this infighting within the community to try to get her attention because of the favoritism that has been bred through it.
Hello? She was allegedly FaceTiming
Gracie, yep.
them in this group chat who were.
So she was FaceTiming people who were in the group chat, of which Gracie was one of those people in the group chat. Gracie, I think Prince, I think Skia, Alyssa, I can't remember all of their names, but they were in the group chat. They were all in the group chat. We see that in the screenshots that Jen shows, who is in the group chat and who is talking. And Gabby sends Gracie FaceTimes. Like she will FaceTime with Gracie, or she'll send a personalized video to Gracie and be like, "Hey, da 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 da. We saw that in Jen's video." We know that she actually was like recording and was like, "Here it is. Let me use your phone, babe." Like, and recording that way, sending it to Gracie. We have the footage. How else would we have the footage? So she wasn't FaceTiming people necessarily, people in the group chat. Like she wasn't FaceTiming the group chat itself. She was picking people that were within the group chat to FaceTime individually.
Paying her more on Patreon? So
That-
why are
That I'm not able to confirm. I'm not able to confirm whether or not people were paying more and then therefore got more attention from her. At this point, we're going off of what Alyssa's saying, and unless another fan comes out and speaks out and says, "Yeah, I was paying $50 a month and this is what I got," or "I paid $100 a month and I got extra because I'm special," like we just know that Gracie got special treatment, and Gabby told her not to tell anybody that she was getting special treatment. That's all we know, and we know Alyssa's side, assuming she's telling the truth.
more people not talking about this?
That at the time felt exciting. Like her inviting a fan over to her house. And let me be clear, I'm not talking about Nick, the guy from her Manic episode. Why did she do that?
Guess why would she do that? But also, like, the micro expressions. Go watch Observe. Go watch the channel Observe. I can't remember exactly what his niche is, but I know that he is able to differentiate through facial expressions, micro expressions. He's able to explain them and what looks like contempt and what looks like regret and what looks like this and what looks like that and what can lead someone to think, okay, they may be guilty or they may be innocent. They have something to hide, but no, they don't. So in this, and I've watched Observe a lot, sadly. I haven't in the past couple of months, but I have seen quite a bit from him. But that seemed to me, again, as more bitterness and resentment and animosity and jealousy. She's just like, she invited somebody to her house. It feels weird to me, given the context, because we already saw somewhat of an expression beforehand. Now we're getting led into this. It just feels a little bit weird. But the one that she invited to her house is the friend of Gracie's. As we saw in Jen's video, Gracie mentioned that Gabby ended up hiring a friend of hers, a friend of Gracie's, to be, I think, her editor, and invited that person to Gabby's own home. And that's who Alyssa is talking about. Because that wasn't Nick. That's who she's talking about, is Gracie's friend. Alyssa, like, you weren't the only one that got slighted there. Like, Gracie did too.
Why did she do that? Is she okay? I didn't know about this until a couple of months ago.
That too. Like, which means, like, this happened years ago. Gracie is talking about the time frame in Jen's video. So this happened years ago. Alyssa only found out about it a couple months ago. I just found out about it a couple of weeks ago because of Jen's video. This video begs more questions than it has answers because, like, you were the last person to leave the fandom, so then who told you? How did you find out? Why did you leave the fandom? Did you leave of your own free will? Is it because it was falling apart? Did Gabby tell you to just go ahead and leave? What influence did Gabby play in any of this behind the scenes? Because we know that she does things behind the scenes. Like, it's breeding questions that we don't have answers to.
I went my entire fandom life not knowing about this. Do you know how jealous I would have been? That's not normal.
You still sound jealous, girl. And it seems like the joking about it is trying to minimize that. I mean, I'm not saying that I am 100% correct. I'm just saying, from what I have seen, from what I am given to understand, you still seem jealous. And it sounds like you're trying to minimize that jealousy and be like, but I'm totally fine and I'm bothered because I'm laughing about it.
I should not be jealous of that. That is, what the hell? Are you kidding? And mind you, this person didn't just go to her house. She worked for her for a period of time, but
Yep.
a lot of people hire their fans. That's not actually as taboo.
It's weird. Sorry, so apparently she's FaceTiming her fans and having them over? Wait, what?
But okay, here's the other thing. We're being given snippets. So one of the last snippets that we were given was that a lot of her fan base, not all, a lot of her fan base is between 14 and 17. Okay. Gracie, by the time that she goes to the rehab center, which I believe was around 2020, which is around the same time that she's saying all of this is happening, was grown. If Gracie was hanging around people of her own age range at this time, then her friend who got hired by Gabby and stayed with Gabby and was invited to Gabby's home would have been grown too. That would be pretty safe to say. So is it weird that Gabby hired a fan when you just sat here and said a lot of people hire their fans? No. Would it have been weird to hire a child as a fan working for you? Yes. So the context is here to frame a particular narrative. And that is why I am trying to treat this with so much nuance, is because the way that it's being framed is not the way in which it happened. She's not inviting minors over to her house. She's hiring a fan, which, weird. In my opinion, weird behavior. But I've seen people do it before. I've seen social media influencers hire fans before to be their editors. I've seen them post online, hey, I'm looking for an editor who's in this area that can come and help me. I've seen it multiple times. So it's not outside of the realm of possibilities to do it. And as long as they're an adult and they're able to say yay or nay, or whether or not they want to do that, or they want to be a live-in editor, or they want to say, you know what, I'll relocate and I'll move that area, or I am nearby anyway, I don't need to move in, I'll just edit for you. That is up to the adult in this situation. And if, again, if Gracie's friend is an adult at the same time that Gracie is an adult, and Gabby is an adult at this time as well, which at the time she was around 30, if they're all adults, it may be weird, but it's not creepy. What makes it creepy is insinuating that because the majority of the audience was 14 to 17, and then she invited a fan to her house, that implies that that fan, through the way that this is framed, is young. That may not have been the case. We don't know. I don't know how old Gracie is or how old she was in 2020. Therefore, I don't know how old her friend was who worked for Gabby to be able to say, that's creepy. I know that they had to have been an adult. That's all I know, over the age of 18. So 18 to 29/30. Is that a little bit weird? Yeah, absolutely. But if we're looking at like 24, we're looking at 23, 24 to be working for Gabby when Gabby was 29, 30. It's just a little bit weird. She hired a fan at that point, not creepy. And I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here on Gabby's behalf. I'm simply stating that if we're framing something, let's frame it correctly. This is what she's upset about, because in 2020, she was 18 and she was not selected.
This is so creepy and so weird.
See, especially teenagers. You see what I'm saying? Like, everybody's like, especially teenagers. They weren't teenagers. That's the problem. It's because the framing previous to this has stated that a majority of the fans were teenagers. Then you say one of her fans was invited to her home. The framing is problematic in itself.
This is not normal behavior, by the way. This is not normal behavior.
As it sounds, it's the inviting the fan over to your house while they work for you.
She was having fans over at her house who were working for her.
A fan. A fan. She FaceTimed one that we know of, unless somebody else wants to come out and say, yeah, I got FaceTimed too. We know Gracie. We know for a fact it is proven. It is recorded. It is cataloged. We have evidence. Gracie was FaceTimed. That is what we know. We know of one on each. If we're applying swoop logic, this is what we know so far. We know about Gracie. We know about Gracie's friend.
The religious pivot makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the fans, it's Colleen all over. When the fans start to grow up, you gotta come up with something fast.
That type of power dynamic is kind of crazy. Looking back on it,
Inappropriate.
It really blurred the lines. We were fans. She was the creator. And I need to reiterate, so many of us were young. The friend I know now at 18 joined the fandom at 12.
And I think that that's why a lot of influencers and content creators are willing to hire fans, because they are the creator. They don't always know what the fans want to see, but the fans do. They know. They're in their own little community. They're talking amongst themselves and saying, I wish this person would go back to being this. That's just like people talking about Jaclyn Hill. I wish she'd come back with the get readies with me. I wish she'd come back with the makeup tutorials. Who would be a good editor for her? Who would be a good advisor for her? Her fans. Of which most of them are grown in Jaclyn's situation and her circumstance. So, is it far-fetched for a fan to be an employee or work for their creator? No. No. But the way that this is being framed is as if they are minors. She's coming back to the age thing again, where one of her friends was 12 in 2020. Or when she came into the fandom. Yeah, so in 2020.
So when you already have a space of people trying to stay on her good side, we're afraid of losing her attention and constantly rewarded. Being invited into her personal life like that, it reinforces the idea that closeness is something you get by being the right type of fan. And I think the clearest example of all of this is how divided it became. There were different levels of access to Gabby Hanna.
God, it literally is just the Colleen fandom. Being the right fan, you get praised the most, you get the most if you're defending the most. This is...
It wasn't labeled in some dramatic way, like there was no specific, here's the access to me card, but we all knew it. We all knew it. There were fans she would FaceTime with, talk to directly, and...
Sorry! What do you mean? Why is she FaceTiming fans, allegedly?
She FaceTimed them, Adam, to get them to do her dirty work. She had people addressing situations that were in regards to her so that she didn't have to fight that battle. So it wasn't coming from her. So she didn't look like a bitch. So she didn't look like a bad guy. So she could sit there when she made her podcast and say, I never spoke up and I never said anything, but I'm going to now. She had her fans doing it. That's why she was FaceTiming them, because look at how special you are that I'm FaceTiming you. Don't you want me to FaceTime you? Of course you do. So here, go do this for me, please. Do mommy a favor. Unhinged.
That can't be skipped over. And like, why are we being told that Gabby Hanna was allegedly FaceTiming fans? That is not normal. Having fans over allegedly at her house.
Build relationships with. And then there were people she wouldn't miss live streams for. People who were still showing up, just at a lower level. Same fandom, very different experience. I didn't see it at the time. I just thought people were closer to her. Now I'm starting to realize maybe they were more of use to her. And I think what shifted for me was how heavy it all started to feel. People always told me, you'll regret being in the Gabby Hanna fandom. I do not regret being in the fandom. I regret what the fandom did while I was in it, because now I am associated with that shit.
Okay, Miss Ma'am. You regret being in the fandom because of what the fandom did, because now you're associated with that shit and you're still acting like you're in the fandom on the Twitter. What did the fandom do today? What did the fandom do this month? What has the fandom of Gabby Hanna done? I ain't heard from Jackson. I ain't heard a peep. I ain't heard a peep out of nobody. What did the fandom do, Miss Alyssa, on Twitter in the past month? I can tell you what you've done. I can tell you what you've posted. I can tell you who you have harassed. You act like you're still part of the fandom. You're upset for what the fandom did while you were in it because now you're associated with it. No, ma'am, you are it. And it explains why you were the last one to leave.
Like, don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't apologize for them. I'm not them.
No, but you can apologize for you. You can make a difference. You can make a change. You can stop harassing Jen on Twitter because you just don't happen to like her. You've said in a video that Jen has on her video that just because you don't like somebody doesn't make it any less, the situation any less valid. Ma'am, just because you don't get along with Jen, just because you don't like her, does not mean that what she's saying is false. Does not make it any less true. You calling her out and saying that she's a 52-year-old woman, shaming her weight, saying the foul shit that you have on Twitter. You broke off of the fandom. You got away from the fandom. And you still act like you're in it. Nothing has changed. You have not changed, but guess what? You have the power to change. You can't apologize for the entire fandom, but you can apologize for what you've done. You can take accountability for what you've done, the part that you played. You can act different on Twitter instead of trolling and harassing and bullying people. Yeah, you can do that. That's a whole choice that you can make on your own.
And then there were times on Patreon where things got really personal. Like,
We saw it in the group chat, remember? When I was in Japan and we made the video, I was on my MacBook. She was in the group chat talking shit about Jessie Smiles, me, fucking everyone else as well. She was in this group chat in Patreon with her fans, rallying them all up to fight for her. Only a few weeks ago.
darkly personal. Talking about, in detail, how much she was struggling and how she was feeling and how successful she was. And now, I'm not saying you should talk about mental health. That's not the issue. The issue is who she was saying it to. A very young, impressionable audience. Because this isn't a private support system. It's a group of fans who are already emotionally invested in this person. And it created this atmosphere where people weren't just supporting her. We were worried for her safety. Worried that...
Oh no! Oh my Jesus Christ. We're being told that allegedly she was in these group chats talking about being suicidal and, oh my God. With children! To quote Cody Tyler, finish that line, to quote Cody Tyler, come on.
Those were children.
Come on, I know you know it. Oof. These are children. This needs more attention. Her religious pivot makes so much sense.
Now I'm going to be fair here. And I'm going to say that I understand why Adam is backing her and supporting her. I do. He was involved in the Colleen situation. There are so many similarities. So many. To the point that it can't be ignored. And to this day, Adam has not been able to escape from the whole Josh situation. Josh apologized. Josh apologized to Gavin. Little bonus info right there. But Josh apologized to Gavin. Has he apologized to Adam? No. Has anybody without a ukulele apologized to Adam? No. Does everybody still want to bring it up? Oh yeah. Absolutely. Was Adam in the middle of that? Oh, yeah. Was Adam taken advantage of and exploited? Absolutely. 100%. So to see another fan in a different fandom have similar experiences to him, yeah, I can understand entirely why he would support Alyssa. But just because he understands Alyssa and the situation that Alyssa was put in does not make Alyssa without fault here, because the dynamics that are different, the parts that make Adam and Alyssa different here, are very stark. And I think that's why so many muckers want Adam to speak out and want him to address this, is because we all see the similarities. We can't ignore them. We cannot ignore them. But we also see the differences, and that's the part that matters. We see the differences between Adam and Alyssa, because Adam is not Alyssa. Adam did not act in the way that Alyssa acted. Adam was a victim, and he came out and he spoke about it. The way that Alyssa has approached this entire situation is completely polarizing and completely different to Adam's original stance of his experience, of who he is as a person. It does not represent him at all. There are similarities, but I don't want people to get so lost in, oh, Alyssa and Adam are so similar, that they start thinking that Adam is the same type of person that Alyssa is, because he's not. He's not. He's spoken about the Joshua David Evans thing. He's not the same type of person that Alyssa is. He's not doing and making the same moves and acting in the same way that Alyssa has and still is. And that's one of the starkest differences. And I think that's why it's extremely important. And I'm going to call. I'm going to call to you, Adam. Muckers, please get this to him. This is your call to action, Adam. Your muckers, your audience wants you to address this. Not because we hate you, not because we're mad, not because we're disappointed, not because we feel any sort of slight from you, anything like that. Because we know the difference. We see the nuance. We understand that you are not Alyssa. But we also understand that you were able to essentially correct yourself when it came to Jackie Aina, and we're asking you to do the same here. To renounce your stance on Alyssa. We know that you took the video down. We're asking you to actually address why you took the video down. And we want to understand what your stance is now, if your stance has changed. And if it hasn't, we want to understand that too, and why. That's all we're asking for.
The kids were growing up. She's like that Discord friend you have to talk off the edge at 2 a.m. And she's also doing it to make them incredibly protective over her. And anytime someone would attack her or call her out or critique her, that's why the fans would go so hard, because, Gabby told us she's suicidal,
If we didn't say the right thing or show up enough or support her enough, then something bad might happen to her. That's a lot to carry, especially as a fan. It's like clearing all over again. And when you combine that with everything else, the hierarchy, the need to protect her, the favoritism, feels a lot like emotional labor. Support should not feel like you're responsible for keeping them alive. Like, as a fan, that is not what support should look like. At a certain point, it stopped feeling like you could criticize her at all. Not because of the backlash or the favoritism, but because we seriously thought she was going to hurt herself. So instead of questioning things, we
to the point that the drama channels thought the same thing. That's why they all stopped. That's why they backed off.
Corrected. So we defended her harder, louder, and more aggressively, because it seemed better than the option of what could.
And she knew.
And here's the other thing too, is while the drama channels weren't covering her, that's when they were going hard. That's when the fans were going hard. They were defending Gabby. They went harder. They went stronger. They came in droves. After the drama channels had said, we're going to shut up about it. We don't have the right to speak on it because this is someone's mental health. They're in a fragile state. They've said so. So here are the fans. Because Gabby can't speak on it. Gabby's in a fragile state. Here come the fans talking about all of it. Here come the fans to her rescue. So now the drama channels can't comment on it because Gabby's in a state. They can't like tell her to rein her audience in. The audience has decided we're going to defend Gabby. So now they're harassing the drama channels. The drama channels are just sitting here having to deal with it and catching the brunt of it, along with some of the fans who are feeling exploited by this point and used and taken advantage of. It was so incredibly messy.
She knew what she was doing, by the way.
She did.
She knew what she was doing. That's why when Colleen wanted us to defend Josh, she would, speak about, she would bring up abuse and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's to make you feel a personal connection to
That
defend.
happened had we not.
Emotional
And there were
manipulation
moments where it
and
didn't feel
exploitation.
passive anymore either. Like when she was misgendering Trisha Paytas. We were expected to step in, defend her, and correct the narrative. When everything was happening with Trisha, I did speak up. And it was not aggressively either. I said it very civilly. Gabby, you need to not be transphobic. It is that simple. This was at a time when Trisha's pronouns were clearly listed in their bio, and they use they, them pronouns at this point. While Trisha uses she, her pronouns now, that does not dismantle the fact that they use they, them pronouns at that period in their life. And it doesn't diminish what Gabby did. Just because somebody changes their pronouns does not mean that the transphobia back then is all right. And the thing is,
the concept of not being able to speak up and voice your opinion in anything. Well, what are these group chats for then, Gabby?
Gabby unfollowed me for it. And she unfollowed a lot of other people too that day.
Making children feel responsible for your emotions and mental state is abuser behavior.
She went totally silent on the internet and went on an unfollowing spree. The weirdest part is, I wasn't...
A grown adult going on an unfollowing spree. A grown adult.
Under the guise of protecting her peace from the drama that she created. She instigated the drama, she stoked the fire, and then she was like, oh, got too hot. I'm unfollowing all these people. They're problematic. I need to protect my peace.
A grown adult going on an unfollowing spree.
Even shocked. I knew the rules. I knew what my place was, and I still crossed the line.
Oh my god.
And the thing I think about a lot is how normal it became for other people to come after us instead of Gabby. We were just existing in that space. A lot of us hadn't even said anything and were put on some hit list to take us down. My friends and I weren't even defending her at this point because she was going off the rails and she was doing nothing to defend herself. So why would we defend her? People would dogpile, attack, harass, and this wasn't rare either. You would think in a community expected to defend her, and in a community where Gabby said that Hello Leash and Jesse Spiles needs to control their fan base, that she might step in for us and help us. But she didn't. Not really, at least. So you end up in this position where you're defending her constantly. You're managing how you act so you don't get cut off. And at the same time, you're completely on your own. And I remember just taking it, because that's what being a fan felt like. But looking back, that's not loyalty. It's cowardice. A lot of us were doxxed for defending her. Some of us were outed to our families for defending her. People contacted my dad for defending her. They got his contact information and texted him. And again, in a fandom where we're expected to show up for her, that level of expectation was not reversed back onto us. I'm not saying she controlled what other people did, but I am saying that environment...
But, I mean, Gabby was actively telling other YouTubers that they need to, control their communities. So the fact that Gabby was not in any way willing to defend her own fans is fucking crazy. And they're all a bunch of kids. They're all a bunch of kids.
The fact that she never spoke up and what some of the other, kids in that group chat were saying, talking about their EDs, that they were going to revert back to their EDs. She never addressed them. She was never like, no, take care of yourself. Don't worry about me. Please take care of yourselves. You guys are young. She never once said that. She turned around and was just like, I'm the victim. I'm the victim. I'm the victim. How can you not see that? I'm the victim. I'm the victim. I think, I want to say that Peter Mon is the one that stated that she had the group chat. And I think he showed parts of it in the Patreon group chat. I want to say he showed parts of it. If not, he read them. But you can hear, if he whether he reads them or he shows them, you can see how long these responses are to a very simple question that one person asked. That's just like, hey, can you answer this just out of curiosity? And she would go on this long spiel, and I was like, okay, but I didn't ask that. Why are you bringing that up? And then she would gaslight this person and be like, you brought it up. I'm like, no, I brought up this question. Answer it.
environment existed because of her, and we were the ones who had to deal with the fallout. When I look back at all of this, I don't think any of it is random. It worked.
It was intentional. I was literally just about to say that it was very intentional.
Very much
It
so.
worked because it benefited her. We were younger, more reactive, and more loyal. We were willing to jump in and attack someone we cared about without fully thinking it through. And she didn't have to defend herself publicly because we were already doing it for her.
Well, not only that, but they were kids. So what were they going to fully think through anyway? Like they were kids. Their impulse control is like non-existent for the most part. For most of them, like their impulse control was non-existent, and she exploited that because she got riled up. So if she got riled up, she'd rile them up, and then she'd just sit back and let them do what they were going to naturally do because she's built a rapport with them. Like Josh said about Adam, like we built a rapport. She had built a rapport with them to where they were just like, oh, we're obligated to you. We'll take care of it. You just sit back and relax. We've got this. And they would. Without having all of the context, without thinking that, hey, maybe I should ask some questions. Because they're kids. They're 14, 15, 16, 17 for the most part. Not all of them, but for the most part.
We were the ones arguing, getting harassed, and getting doxxed. Well, she got to stay just far enough removed from it. And I think something that gets overlooked in all
But
of
enough
this
to
is how
benefit
long
from
we
it.
stayed. And I don't mean that the way you think I mean that either. Hear me out. There were long stretches, on Patreon especially, where she just wasn't there, but kept charging people for their fucking money. Months, sometimes close to...
Also, one thing that I know about Gabby's Patreon as well is that one of the features that she would constantly promote was this closeness with her fans. But apparently as well, when she started getting backlash for her grid chat, she just shut it down.
She did.
That's crazy.
And
Sure,
people
it's
didn't leave. We
twice
waited,
concert.
which, yes, is our own fault. But she should have paused subscription. We kept expecting her to come back and pick things up eventually. We waited because that's what a good fan looked like. She would disappear for months at a time, sometimes years, and then come back and expect the same loyalty. There's a reason her albums flopped. Like a real reason they didn't chart. And
Not Adam's face. It's not this freeze frame. I love Adam's face here, by the way. Adam, I can't look at you. I'm never going to be able to get through what I got to say if I keep looking at you, my dude. um, but no, like, this is what I'm talking about. Alyssa is over here just dogging the absolute crap out of Gabby. And then, like, I can't look at that face. My God. But, like, Alyssa's over here dogging the crap out of Gabby. And then in the comments, defending her. And then on Twitter, trolling and acting like she's still in the fandom. Harassing the same people that Gabby had a problem with. Like, Alyssa, Honey Bunch, why? You don't like Jen for what reason exactly? Like, I understand that a majority of it was Gabby based, and you're no longer in the fandom, so why are you still mad at Jen? Because she said you were from Albuquerque? Because she said you was from Albuquerque? Because she insulted your musical talents? Wait. Ooh, hold on. That's giving Gabby. Gabby put out a book. Allowed people to read it. People critiqued it. She got upset. Alyssa puts out music to her channel. Jen reacts to it. Critiques it. Alyssa gets upset. Is that why we're still bitter? Is it the song? Are we upset about the song? Because I meant what I said about, like, send it to Simon Cowell. He's a music producer. See what he says. You don't like Jen's opinion? Send it to Simon. See what he says. I'm sure Paula Abdul will say that you look absolutely fashionable. Like, that was kind of her thing. Maybe send it to Randy. Randy was pretty objective. Maybe send it to Randy. Yeah. But I mean, I would definitely send it to Simon Cowell. But I mean, is that what we're upset about? Is that what you're upset about? Is that and the fact that she said that an IP address that was sent with a spam email with an IP that was in Albuquerque. Are you upset about that too? Because here's the other part. Like the part that Jen and Hello Leash said was, well, we know who lives there, put two and two together. In neither one of the videos that I've seen, now, please, by all means, if somebody out there has footage where they said, oh, that's Alyssa Perrine, she's the one that lives in Albuquerque. If someone said that exactly, please find the footage, let me know. And I'm not talking about new footage, I'm talking about back from 2020. Okay? Somebody has that footage, has a tweet, has anything that says Alyssa Perrine, please let me know. I will recant my statement and correct myself. But from what I have seen, Hello Leash and Jen both have just said, well, we know who lives there. Put two and two together. And Alyssa put online that people doxed her. And all that Jen said is the IP address for the spam emails came from Albuquerque. And when Alyssa said that Jen had doxed her, she referenced herself. She admitted that she had immaturely sent spam emails and signed Jen up for an email list. And Hello Leash. She admitted that herself in a video long ago. So then, if Jen didn't say it, and Hello Leash didn't say it, and all they said was Albuquerque, then I'm going to assume, I'm going to draw the conclusion here, that Miss Alyssa, you probably felt targeted because you knew that you lived in Albuquerque. And then you further brought attention to yourself by making the video claiming that that was about me. When I don't think that really anyone would have known otherwise. Because as I said in my last video, Albuquerque is quite big. Albuquerque is quite large. That's not doxing someone. Doxing someone requires an actual address, and that damn sure isn't swatting. So, for all intents and purposes, based on the evidence provided thus far, I'm going to go so far as to say that you doxed yourself by announcing that you were the one that they were talking about. But again, even if that's the case, no one got doxed. That's not doxing.
It's because it's not because she didn't promote them. It's because she ruined the loyalty with her fan base, and now we don't want to stream them either. But that doesn't change the fact that we were expected to hold everything up. And it wasn't just about her being gone.
Expecting kids to continue financially supporting you whenever you're like not doing anything in return is bonkers behavior.
It was about the fact that a lot of her Patreon was tied to, if you subscribe, I will do this. She made specific promises and then did not fulfill them.
That's not what a Patreon is.
I mean, it kind of is. It kind of is. The agreement with Patreon is like, if you pay me X tier, you will get these things under this tier. If you pay the second tier, you get all the things in the first tier plus this. If you pay the third tier, you get all the things in the first and second tier plus these things. So it kind of is like, if you pay me this, you get this. Now, what was in her tiers may have been questionable, and potentially inappropriate, but that is 100% how Patreon works. Whether it's bonus content, whether it's access to a Discord server, whether it is watching them, the person edit their videos and having a chat, a live stream, whatever, like that, it depends. But that's 100% how Patreon works. I just don't know what her tiers were because I was never a paid member, so I couldn't tell you there. But I mean, this is a very vague statement being made by Alyssa that I can, having been on multiple different people's Patreons, I mean, not being subscribed to them, but like having seen their tiers and being like, oh, no, no thanks, that's a little bit too pricey for me. Having seen what their tiers look like and what they're offering, yeah, I can say, like, for $5 you get this, and for $10 you get that, and for $15 you get this. That's how Patreon works. In a vague statement like that, that's how Patreon works. I don't know what was in the tiers. We're going to have some more context there.
Or like an OnlyFans. Patreon is not you do that and I'll do this. You do that and I'll do this. It's like videos. Extra content. Not I'm gonna FaceTime you, I'm gonna have you over at my house, that's no.
Okay, but Adam, you're drawing conclusions because that's not what was said. That's not what was said. But see, this is the problem, is when you have the context framed in such a way, you're allowing an audience to draw a conclusion that otherwise may not be the case. And that's the problem with how this entire video is structured, is because it frames it in such a way that it makes it sound like you pay me $20 on this tier and you get a FaceTime call with me. If you pay me $50 a month on my Patreon tier, you get to come to my house. That's not even what was said. What was said is you pay and you get this thing. That is how Patreon works. It's being framed as a negative. But that is very much how Patreon works. You pay this money. You do this. AKA, you pay money. You receive service in the form of whether it's bonus content, whether it is access to a Discord server, access to the Patreon, like a private Patreon chat with just you and a few members. That is 100% how it works. It's just being painted in a negative light because of the context predating or the previous statements that were made that already made it sound inappropriate and questionable to begin with, is now being led into, well, she made a Patreon. It's blowing it out of a proportion that it doesn't need to be blown into. And conclusions like what Adam is concluding over here is being able to be drawn when it may or may not be the case. We don't know. Only the people that were Patreon members who are willing to come and speak about it will be able to say what was in each tier and what those tiers look like and what they offered. Because Alyssa is being, again, very vague.
No.
Music videos, content, things that were supposed to...
Okay, music video, content. If that's what's being offered on the Patreon, that is within the rights of Patreon. That is how Patreon works. Yep, you get exclusive privileges to see the music video before it's out. You get to potentially be in the music video. You get the opportunity for X, Y, or Z. Like, look at Icon for Hire. You pay a certain percentage and you're an active member of the Icon for Hire army. You have the opportunity to be in their music videos. So that's not outside of the realm of possibilities of things that can happen through a Patreon.
Be funded by our support. Things that just never really happened. We kept waiting and assuming it was coming eventually. We kept giving her the benefit of the fucking doubt, and I don't know why. She gave us no reason to trust her. And I get it, things happen and projects fall through, but this was not that. It kept happening and nothing was ever addressed. It became a pattern. And it wasn't just Patreon. For years there were promises of new music called This Time Next Year coming out, with specific songs on the album. She promised that things were on the way. And then when she released it, they were shitty little voice note versions. It was not good. I swear on my life, there were certain fans sending her $50 filming, like...
I'm still trying to understand what she says here. Like, I have watched this, I don't know how many times, this one section where she's like, $50, blah, 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 blah. What? So I'm going to turn this way up. Y'all are not going to, I don't think y'all are going to hear a difference in it, but I'm going to turn it way up so I can hopefully understand what she is saying because, yeah, I don't know. Oh, come on. Work.
It kept happening and nothing was ever addressed. It became a pattern. And it wasn't just Patreon. For years there were promises of new music called This Time Next Year coming out, with specific songs on the album. She promised that things were on the way. And then when she released it, they were shitty little voice note versions. It was not good. I swear on my life, there were certain fans sending her $50 filming, like, music video shoot locations that she could film at.
There were certain fans that gave her $50 music video shoot locations that she could film at. I think that's what she's saying. And if that's the case, we're going to listen to the rest of it because you're going to need that context.
And she was just like, no, I don't think I'm going to.
Okay. So if I understood the words that she just said correctly, that there were certain fans that gave her $50 music video photo shoot ideas or something along those lines. If they gave her $50 and then a list of potential locations for her to film her music videos, and she chose not to film in those locations, that's a preference. I don't know. I feel like the way that this is being worded is they gave her $50 to film a music video, to help her to fund and film a music video. And then they were like, hey, this is how I'm inferring this. And if I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But it sounded like they were like, hey, here is also a list of locations that I think would be really cool for these music videos. And she took the $50 to fund the music video and then said, no thanks, I don't want to. And instead filmed in her home, which we saw. Now, we cannot say without a shadow of a doubt that the $50 was not used in that music video or in any of the music videos. That $50 could have been spent on clothing. That $50 could have been spent on lighting. That $50 could have been spent paying an editor to clip the video together. That $50 could have been spent in some way that went toward the music video without it having to have been a location. So when she's snarkily saying like, no thanks, I don't want to. Why does it sound, Miss Alyssa, like you were the person that gave her the $50 and the list, and now you're offended that she didn't take your list and do what you wanted her to do? And if I'm wrong, please correct me, but like that's how it sounds. That sounds like you gave her $50 and said, here's an idea. I think this would be really cool for your video shoot. Bam. Sent that too. And she was like, no thanks, I don't want to. And you felt slighted. That's why I'm approaching this with nuance. Because that $50 could have been spent for that music video. We don't have proof that it wasn't. For any music video, for a plethora of music videos. We have no evidence that it was not. So to sit there and say that, like, Gabby, in some way, like, this has some negative connotation toward Gabby, specifically in this instance, as if this is a thing you should hate Gabby for. I don't know. It's giving the whole, like, what's her name? Riley Elena and It's Black Friday drama again. Like, it's giving that, where people spent $2.50 to donate to It's Black Friday for a wedding, and because the wedding didn't happen, some disgruntled fan was upset and sent Riley Elena a whole email saying how terrible of a person It's Black Friday is. It's giving that. Like, girl, I don't know if you were the one that gave her the $50, but it really, like, the way that this is framed, it really sounds like it. It really sounds like it. On top of that, I'm going to go ahead and say, because I've been saying nuance a whole lot, I'm going to go ahead and sit here and say that while Alyssa can 100% be, and probably is, a victim of Gabby Hanna, she can also be an aggressor and a villain toward Jen. Two things can be true at the same time.
And then she filmed in her bedroom on her iPhone with no support, with shitty little dances that she put no effort into choreography. Like, we hated them. All that aside, people stayed. People kept believing things were coming. By this point, waiting had kind of become normal.
Jesus Christ.
I think the hardest thing to admit is that we were all doing this in her name. A lot of it was framed as defending her.
Well, they were all kids.
But in
They were all
practice,
kids.
it often turned into going after other creators, dogpiling, arguing, pushing back in ways.
Absolutely. And I spoke about that. She's basically saying the same thing I did. Like, when somebody had disagreed with Gabby, they were right there. They would shift. All Gabby had to say was, "I'm upset. This person said this," and here they'd all go.
It didn't always feel reasonable. And the thing is, it didn't even feel wrong at the time. That behavior wasn't shut down, and if anything, it was reinforced by Gabby and the fandom itself. When people went hard for her, they got attention from anti-Gabby Hanna fans. But we also got
I want to understand what an anti-Gabby Hanna fan is. Is it a Jen fan, a Jessie fan, a Trisha fan? You talking about drama channels? And Jessie and Jen? You talking about Peter Mon? Like, who are we talking about?
validation from peers, recognition from Gabby herself. So it starts to feel like something you're supposed to do. And there's another thing that's really hard for me to sit with, because there was this narrative for a long time that she had genuinely changed. Like, we believed Gabby from 2015 and Gabby from 2020 were so far removed. She was such a better person. She had changed so much. And then I look at Gabby in 2026 and I'm like, well, someone doesn't regress that much in 6 years. That means she never actually changed. There were conversations behind the scenes, like,
Hold. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Ma'am, you stated all the things that you did back in 2020, right? And then you waited. You were waiting for more from Gabby, and here you come at 2026, and now you're breaking the fandom. You escaped the Gabby Hanna fandom. You escaped from the cult. Yay. Kudos, girl. But then you regress right back to 2020. Alyssa trolling and bullying and degrading and harassing people on the Twitter, just like you were doing before. But you want to sit here and shit talk Gabby for regressing over 6 years? You haven't changed. You haven't grown. You're still doing the same Gabby fandom bullshit you were doing at 18. Hello?
a 3-hour phone call that explained everything. We thought she validated herself. We really, genuinely did. Namely, because most of us didn't have 3 hours to digest that shit.
This is a big reason. What should I drink tonight for today's game? What's today's game? I think that you should drink a Malibu Cola.
Malibu Sprite. Trust me. Trust me.
Or a Pinot Grigio.
No. No. Mojito. Let's change the Pinot Grigio to a mojito. Like, no. No Pinot Grigio.
So, there's just so many thoughts. I can and can't believe it. But anyways, Gabby released the 3-hour call, and I said this when we reacted to all 3 hours, that I was like, oh, okay, fun. I said this to her, or I said this to you guys, which was like, Gabby relied on the fact that people don't have 3 hours to listen to this entire call and just hoped that her saying, I'm going to release all 3 hours unedited, it was edited, by the way.
Yep.
In parts, would make people have confidence to support Gabby that she has nothing to hide.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. And we spent 3 hours going through it.
So we skimmed.
I don't know how she thought that 3-hour phone call was going to be a good look for her. Because the people that sat there through those 3 hours, like I kept having, let me tell you something. I had to break it down over 6 days. Okay. It was COVID. I was bored. I eventually got through all 3 hours. And let me tell you something. It was not a good look for Ms. Gabby Hanna. It was not a good look. And the reason why is because of the ultimatums that she was making toward Jessie. And it wasn't mutual. She framed it as there was a mutual agreement between me and Jessie. We were no longer going to speak about this. But no, Gabby made the exception where it's like, I get to speak about this because people are going to interview me, but you can't. You need to sign an NDA. And Jessie said, how about we both sign one? And Gabby said, no. How releasing that could have ever been a good look for Gabby. How Gabby releasing that could have been a good look for her is beyond me.
Through, and we found out the parts that fans talked about, and we telephoned it.
And when you listen to the call, like we did, if you listen to that call with me, say aye, Captain. It was crazy. You actually hear how abusive, in my opinion, Gabby is.
The thing I hate the most, we did. As fans, we took that seriously. We trusted that there was context we didn't know. I mean, Jessie's friends were literally in my personal DMs calling that phone call napalm at least a year and a half before.
Oh, and by the way, in case you thought that Alyssa was done bringing the napalm up because she said it in the comments, now she said it in this video, she's still saying it on Twitter.
was released. Meaning, yes, it was premeditated, but
So you mean to tell me, Miss Alyssa, that you sat here and waited for Gabby to change? You thought she had changed. You wanted her to change. You patiently sat by and you were just like, please, Gabby, change for the better, change for the better. And you sat there for 6 years and you waited for her to change. And you had 6 years to yourself grow and change as a person. And you mean to tell me you didn't change either? And you can't understand how Gabby didn't change when you didn't change. Gabby may not be your biological mother, but I'm going to go ahead and say in the fandoms, the apple does not fall far from the creator.
in hindsight, is that a bad thing? In the moment, we were like, if it's premeditated, how truthful can Jesse be? Really? Really? Like, I look back on my own thought process and I'm like, oh, I was so brainwashed. This is a cult. But the way I was thinking about it is, why would I receive information about this? I believed it was things that had been resolved that I'm not privy to. But the more I think about it, the more I question it, as I should. After Gabby's Patreon group leak, I can't look at that phone call the same way anymore.
And again, this was from a couple weeks ago when she was talking so much shit about Gabby in her Patreon group chat and got leaked.
She was talking, so that was a Freudian slip on Adam's part when Gabby was talking so much shit about Jesse. That's what he's referring to.
Went through it. It was fucking humiliating. This is humiliating. It was humiliating with Colleen. It's humiliating with Gabby. And it's humiliating for them. Not for any of the kids or young adults who were doing the things for them. For Colleen and for Gabby to act like this way and spend your time doing this. It's fucking humiliating.
I can't. It's forever changed. We didn't hear that conversation for years, but Gabby knew it existed. We didn't see what was said. We were just told what happened. But the behavior that she was showing after the fact didn't really reflect that she had changed. I can say that the way that Gabby presented the phone call made it easier for us to ignore what was right in front of us. It gave us reason to keep believing. It's a lot easier to defend somebody when you think the worst is already behind them. The thing that stayed with me the most was what wasn't addressed. There were things, especially during her Manic episode, where she said things that were genuinely harmful, offensive, and racist.
Facts.
Towards Black people, towards Native Americans, and towards all the trans people. Like, it was just so fucked up. Non-binary people, trans people, people with DID. I could keep going! There were so many people she attacked during her Manic episode, and then never addressed it. She said she would address it, and then never did.
Here's the thing. Like, it's really, really, really crazy to me that this ChatGPT script, guys, I'm gonna be honest, I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's what's going on here. But anyways, it's so crazy to me because Gabby would go out of her way to attack people knowing that there would be a bunch of kids to pick up the pieces for her.
Yep.
And she would ultimately make money from all of the monetization of it. It's fucking disgusting. It literally is fucking disgusting. Pisses me off so much.
Looking for was a direct, clear acknowledgement of what happened, not a vague explanation. I wanted
Okay, so you wanted X and you got Y. Well, the internet wants X and you're giving them Y, Miss Alyssa, because you're not taking any accountability. We wanted an explanation. You're being vague. Could you be more specific? Could you please be more specific? Could you take accountability for your actions? We are all waiting. With bated breath.
actual accountability for what was said. Mental health may be able to explain behavior. It does not erase the impact.
Yes, precisely that. Have you considered that yourself, Miss Alyssa? You're preaching the thing. Are you practicing the thing? You're saying the thing. I agree with the thing.
That she had. I remember waiting for that moment where it would be like, oh, she's finally taking this seriously. And it just never came. When you're in a space where you're expected to defend someone, that lack of clarity does not make things easier. It makes fans explain something that was never actually explained in the first place. And that's not a position we should be put in. We shouldn't have to put words in Gabby's mouth.
Yep.
We shouldn't have to defend Gabby from a racism act.
Guys. Shh. We do not need to be talking about ChatGPT in the chat right now. We are hearing from someone who was a child speaking up about an adult that was using them. Can you please have some social awareness, please? Jesus Christ.
They're not a child. They were not a child.
Accusation in 2025. This just straight up should not have left her mouth to begin with.
True.
She should have The second she became stable, apologized for what she said, but instead she let God atone for her misdeeds. This does nothing for the public. I think that was what really broke it for me, was the trust. After everything happened, there were statements about getting help from mental health professionals.
Yep.
As a fan, that mattered. It made it feel like things were actually being taken seriously, and this wouldn't happen again. But over time, that trust started to feel a lot less solid. Now, I can't speak for anything that did or did not happen privately. I don't have access to that.
Sorry, I just can't get over, why was she allegedly FaceTiming fans? Jesus.
Not the Jesus. Because unhinged, Adam. Because unhinged. Have you?
Hello? Hello?
Literally, I don't know who is here in this red text. She's weird. Yeah.
But I can talk to how I felt watching everything that happened after that. The behavior didn't really line up with what we were being told is changing. At a certain point, it stopped feeling like growth and felt like we were just supposed to believe this was happening behind the scenes. We don't see it, but it's there.
Oh, religion.
And then everything changed. Like a full rebrand. Different content, different messaging, different identity. She's leading into the trad wife Christian era and taking a...
Before you start, Adam, shush. I'm just curious in all the things that we are talking about in the Gabby Hanna fandom. We addressed Jessie. We addressed the Rachel Oates. We addressed the fandom going after other content creators. We addressed some very vaguely specific things. Why were the false accusations against Jen never addressed? Like, I'm just curious why that was never even part of it, to the point, like, that would have been a showstopper and, like, a whole huge game changer. Like, that would have been massive for Alyssa to have been like, oh, and Gabby had us believing X, Y, and Z about Jen, so we all dogpiled her. But even still, you essentially requested that Jen put y'all's differences aside and just do the right thing at some point through one of your videos that Jen shared in her video. That because, just because you don't like a creator or someone else doesn't mean that you shouldn't do the right thing. Well, this was your chance, Alyssa, to do the right thing and to speak up on that. And I have no clue how much knowledge about that situation you had in regards to Gracie. But I do know that you were in the fandom in 2020 when the situation went down, when Jen was getting dragged on Twitter, when you could have said, we really didn't have any evidence, but Gabby and the stans went hard for Jen, regardless of a lack of evidence. That could have been a statement. I don't know, it might have won you some brownie points. Interesting that you didn't mention that.
Really interesting that Gabby did this, and now it makes me believe, in my opinion, more so that this was intentional, because she maybe thought that eventually the fans would speak out against her. But then she was still in the fucking Patreon chat. She was still in the Patreon chat. Like, Jesus Christ.
And here's the other thing, too. This is something that I learned from Jen, is that even when Gabby says, I'm walking away, I'm stepping away, this isn't good for me, she will not be present. She will not actively be participating, but she will watch. She will watch, she will record, or she will have someone else do it. So that when the time comes and she is good and ready, because every decision she makes is calculated, she'll release it and be like, look at how this got. Look at what happened here. And paint everybody else as the problem, while she doesn't have to take accountability yet again. She'll ignore all of the things that she said against Trish and Jessie in that group chat, and she'll show people going after others, the infighting that happens within her community, and be like, see, these are fake fans. They just joined because it was free. They don't care. I will guarantee you she is watching the internet fall apart right now. Just implode. She'll bide her time. She'll probably make another comeback. She's just biding her time.
Much direct, critical approach to other people. And again, people are allowed to change. That's not the problem. The problem was how sudden it felt, and how little was actually explained to the people who were there supporting her.
That's crazy. Imagine being a fan of her and loving her for a completely different era, and then one day Gabby's like, hallelujah.
I kind of wonder, and this has been like something that I have been sitting with since the first time I saw this video. If the reason we haven't heard from the rest of the fandom, and the reason that we are hearing from Alyssa, and the reason that Alyssa is saying the things that she's saying, and she's not touching on certain other subjects, and the reason she's being vague, I almost wonder, and why she's still acting like she's in the fandom when she's trolling Jen and like bullying and harassing Jen. I kind of wonder if Gabby does still have a hand in this, if she is orchestrating Alyssa's statement from the sidelines, like she did with Gracie, to essentially be like, this is about to get bad. You need to make a statement and distance yourself from me before you get hurt. And I wonder if she told the rest of the stands to do the same thing, to distance themselves from her so that they don't get the backlash, because she's already out of the spotlight at the moment. Like, we're all talking about her, but she's out of the spotlight. She's not presently online posting and stuff like that. And I kind of wonder if this is going to come back as the internet is a horrible place, cancel culture thing. This is why drama channels can't be trusted. This is why T channels are bad. This is why blah, 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 blah. This is what happened while I was away. You people are horrible. Like, she said that before when she came back this last time. And I'm wondering if, I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just curious. I'm just wondering because I've seen how Gabby works. I'm wondering if this is another orchestrated thing, kind of like it was with Gracie, because it can't come from her.
Hallelujah.
Built an audience on one
Not the hallelujah right as soon as I say that.
kind of relationship and then completely change into something else, it feels like being left behind without understanding why. Especially when that new version starts criticizing in ways that honestly feel familiar. It felt like the same patterns from old versions of Gabby. And at that point, I think I realized I wasn't watching someone grow. I was watching someone change patterns and directions without actually ever addressing what came before it. Then, there were moments that just felt disconnected from the audience entirely. Like when she started going after Adam McIntyre for living in sin. The audience she built, the people that were there to support her throughout all of this, are majority gay men, lesbians, and trans people. So seeing the messaging aimed at someone like that did not feel out of place. It felt like
I always get so caught off guard when someone, like, when there's a fourth wall. I'm like, I feel like I just paid for a cameo. But yeah, Gabby cultivated a very queer audience and then turned on that same audience when she hallelujah'd, you know?
like all of the people who had been there this entire time weren't being considered at all. I remember watching and thinking, who is this actually for? Who watches this? Because it wasn't just a change in content, it was a shift in values entirely.
True.
No matter how horrible of a person Gabby was in 2018, she was socially aware. She supported trans and gay people and supported Black Lives Matter. For us, she did the bare minimum. She was amongst the people who were on the right side. Now look at her. On the right side.
Yep.
Like, hello. That's the part that says the most about how it ended. The downfall actually started in 2021.
Oh.
There wasn't some huge fallout in the fandom where people made massive cancellation posts. People just slowly started to leave in waves. At a certain point, it wasn't even...
Okay, so I'm looking through the screenshots that I saved on Twitter. I'm sorry to interrupt this, but I'm looking through the screenshots I saved on Twitter that Alyssa stated. And this is why I'm saying, like, why didn't she address this in the video? So, this was the tweet, and then she replied to her own tweet. Her tweet says, since KodeeReads is back and thinks it's okay to dox people, which, like, I don't know if she actually doxed Alyssa or not, but either way, this is based on the comment. This is a screenshot of the comment that's in this video. Let's also address the fact that they're a habitual liar who can't get their story straight. Skia, Jenna, Michael, and I never accused Jen Dent of our wording. Gabby Hanna stands did, but we were not involved in that. Okay. Maybe that's true. I don't know how much I believe that. And then her comment, her reply to her own comment was, we had our own separate group and were actively friendly, she puts this in quotations, friendly with her and helping to report the Adam account. Now, the Adam account is Adam Bungle. I remember it vividly. Do you not remember us saying how hypocritical it was that this started with Gabby lying about Jesse's R-word accusation? We never once defended them. But in this whole thing, you sat here and said that Jen was worse than Gabby. So again, please help me understand why. But you just sat here and dogged the shit out of Jen and said, like, the X, Y, and Z, this is what Jen did. And she's a horrible person. She's worse than Gabby. But then you just sat there and said you were friendly with her and were reporting the Adam account. I'm so confused, ma'am. I'm going to need you to get your story straight.
Anger anymore. It was disappointment. I felt it and I saw it in other people too. Because when you support someone, defend them, and watch and expect them to grow, and then nothing changes, you just stop showing up. The hardest part about this is realizing how long I stayed.
Especially when she's taking money off you with nothing in return.
Something didn't sit right with me and I still found a way to explain it. How many times I chose to defend someone instead of listening to my own instincts. I wasn't just watching it. I was a part of it. I helped defend her. I participated in a space that, looking back, wasn't healthy for me or the people around me. I lost so many pounds and developed stress.
That's how I felt about age 3. Well, you know what? Shout out to you for getting out of it, because a lot of people haven't.
From the emotional,
which is crazy to me.
So she developed a stress ulcer. She lost 70 pounds and developed a stress ulcer. That is sad. That is incredibly sad. And I don't want to minimize that. That's why I'm pausing. I don't want to minimize that. However, it does not excuse what you are doing today. What you went through then, what you dealt with then, and the hardships that you endured because of all of those things, while upsetting, sad, and horrible they may be, does not take back what you are currently doing today. It does not fix it, it does not make it go away, and it does not make it okay.
I had a CPTSD response to being doxxed and harassed by literal YouTubers. Why was KodeeReads making videos about me when I was the one getting doxxed and harassed? KodeeReads, they're children. I don't think that makes me a bad person. I just think I have to be honest about it now. I have to be honest about what it felt like, what we normalized, and what we ignored. So, I'm not a fan anymore.
Okay, you're not a fan anymore, but you're acting like you're still in the fandom. You're still making the same actions. So then this was just who you were. So then you can't blame the fandom for what it did to you or what it did around you that you got associated with, because we are seeing this is just who you are.
I can't support her homophobia or transphobia or racism, or I could keep going. It wasn't one moment
But ma'am, didn't you post something on Twitter that spelled out a homophobic slur and tried to turn it into something positive, tried to spin it into something else? And I'm going to go ahead and say that if anybody else is okay with that, then cool, great, fantastic, love that for you. But I'm going to go ahead and say it made me uncomfortable, personally. Not on behalf of anybody, it made me uncomfortable. Like, it made me want to just crawl inside myself, because to me that's gross. And it's giving Miss Katie when Miss Katie tried to rebrand the N word with the hard R as being something positive, at least in my opinion. And that's where I'm like, if we're going to hold one to a particular standard, we need to hold all to a particular standard. Because if that wasn't okay for Miss Katie to do, which it absolutely was not, then I don't find it okay for Alyssa to do either. Now, I have heard gay men refer to each other and themselves as that, because that was a derogatory term typically used for gay men or toward the gay male community, not typically the female community and the LGBTQ, but mainly toward the men. Alyssa's not a man. So for me, like, that's like Miss Katie, who is a white woman, turning a racial slur into something positive for a person of color. Now we have Alyssa over here, a woman, turning a homophobic slur derogatory toward men into something positive, and on top of that, like minimizing the struggles that gay men have had to go through by saying fabulous ass girls in the beginning of it. I'm sorry, can we go to Todrick Hall? Can we reference Todrick Hall for a moment? And I understand that he's problematic, but can we reference Todrick Hall here? Because he made a video, a music video, a song in regards to that term, the shorthand of that term, because it's used against men, not women. I would never. I, no. So if the rest of the LGBTQ and everybody else is like, oh, that's fine, that's cool, that's whatever, that's great, cool, great, you can have that. I'm not okay with it. I don't like it. I don't think it's appropriate. I think that's a little bit hypocritical for her to sit here and say, I can't support Gabby being this way. Personal opinion. Personal opinion. Hot take, maybe.
One thing she said or did. It was everything stacking over time.
Come on! Hey! These are children. Period. Oh, she's a Mucker Zine.
I felt more anxious than I did excited. I was looking at how to defend her instead of actually enjoying her content. It was seeing
There was no
how
content
we
to
were
enjoy.
expected to protect her, but nobody protected us. It was the favoritism, the hierarchy, the way attention became something you had to earn by being the right type of fan. The times that things were framed in ways that made us react a certain way, and we did. The times where real issues were involved, and we were still expected to defend first and think later. Liking someone shouldn't be like this. Being part of a community shouldn't look like calculating what you can and cannot say. And more importantly, it was realizing that some of the things she's doing recently just don't align with me anymore. So I left because I finally stopped ignoring all of it. Time, energy, defending her, being part of that space. When you put that much into it, it's really hard to walk away.
And also, these people are so young.
Even when you start noticing patterns. Leaving doesn't mean just stop being a fan. It also means admitting how long you stayed when you shouldn't have. It happens slowly in pieces, because letting go of something like that takes time. Now, there's not a single original supporter who stands by Gabby.
You heard that. There's not a single supporter who stands by Gabby.
Ooh.
I think they're all gone.
I think they're all gone. So you don't know. So you made a blanket statement and you're not sure.
All of my friends, all of the fandom, they're gone.
All of your friends, all of the fandom, they're gone. So your friends left. So to you, that's everybody. They're gone. But you don't know if everybody actually left. Like, which I can tell you, like, Gabby doesn't have a Twitter. She still has millions of followers on Instagram. She has her own personal Facebook. She has, I think, and the Frontmen as a Facebook page. I want to say she has Gabby Hanna as a Facebook page as well. I could be wrong. I'll have to look that up. And I will post that in the comments. I'll pin the comment below. And I think she took her TikTok down, if I'm not mistaken. So now she's mainly on Instagram. And the last thing she posted was where she took 20 selfies because she cut her hair real cute and posted them. And if those are the 20 that she posted, I'm scared to know how many she actually took.
They're gone. There are no fans on Twitter of Gabby Hanna.
That's because there is no Gabby Hanna on Twitter, ma'am. There are no fans on Gabby Hanna Twitter because there is no Gabby Hanna Twitter.
I was the last.
There are no fans of Gabby
Hanna.
Hanna.
You were the last one to leave. How do you know you were the last one to leave and that her account just wasn't deactivated around the same time?
And so did we.
Hot take.
It's much bigger than all of that. That's all I really wanted to say. Not to start anything or to drag anyone. Just to be honest about why I'm not here anymore. If you're still in the fandom, I'm not telling you what to do. But I am saying, if something feels off, listen.
Who is in the Gabby Hanna
If you've
fandom?
also gone through something like this publicly, you don't have to share it. But if you want to, you can. Just be honest. Thank you for watching and giving me your time when I know this is something I put myself into by choice. Ultimately, this is my fault. But I wanted to speak about it. Thank you, and goodbye.
Overall, yeah, she can be a victim of Gabby Hanna while also being a villain toward Jen because is a victim, is a villain toward Jen. Absolutely. She's still harassing Jen. Jen, for years, has said that she just wants this to stop. Jessie, for years, has said that she just wants this to stop. Who made a "this needs to stop" video in regards to whom first? Let's check those facts. Jessie made one about Gabby before Gabby ever made a reply. And when she did make a reply, it was an entire series. And then because Gabby wasn't done, she took a break, came back, and because she had not yet experienced the closure that she needed to experience, she brought it all up again. Why? Because Gabby can't let it go. And then she sat there on TikTok. And I'm fairly certain I still have those TikToks somewhere on my computer where she was like, Jessie is absolutely right. I'm never going to stop. Ma'am, what? And this was recent. That was earlier this year. Ma'am, what? What kind of unhinged behavior? Because stirring up whatever is going on with you and Jessie and Jen, it's squashed. It's done. It's over. And no matter how many times you try to bring it back, my God, you're like Gretchen Wiener. Fetch is never going to happen. Bringing up Jessie and Jen is never going to give you the results you want. Stop trying to make it happen. Take a hint. Read the room. We're done. We're all done. The internet is done with you, Gabby Hanna. You are finished. You are done. If you want to call it cancel culture, look in the mirror. It's called taking accountability, of which you have never done. And that is the problem that the internet has with you. Not once have you taken accountability for your actual actions. You have played the victim. You have blamed everybody but yourself. You've never once apologized or even tried to look after your audience. You have exploited them. The list goes on, and we are done. We're done. People that never supported you never will. The people that did are done. The people that thought that maybe she'll change have given up hope on you, Gabby. Because you have not changed. You've shown time and time again that you are incapable of change because you don't really want to. And that's on you, girl. That is on you. And that's the life you have to live. And that's what you have to deal with. It is not our duty to deal with it or to put up with it or to handle your shit. It's yours. You're 35. You're 35. I had the most growth myself from the time that I was 33 until today. So far. And I'm sure there's plenty more growth coming for me. And that's great. I welcome it. I'm 36. The actions that you have taken in the past 3 years, I would have never in a million years. You couldn't pay me enough to exploit an audience the way that you have. You couldn't pay me enough to weaponize them. You couldn't pay me enough to do half the shit that you've done with your audience, to your audience, in your fan base, on your YouTube. You could not pay me enough. We're done, Gabby. Because I could never lie about someone and accuse them of a serious accusation. I could never sit there and say that someone used a story about their R word for clout. Are you serious? That's sick. It's twisted. It's fucked. You're chopped. Take accountability for your actions, ma'am. Or just don't bother coming back. Because we're not interested. Do not expect us to keep the same energy that we have been keeping and give you the same grace that we have been giving you for the past 6 years, because it will not happen. We know too much now. Y'all, take it easy. I'll see you in the next video. We got Joshua David Evans coming. We've got a sleep token video coming, and we've got another video coming. I don't know how long the Joshua David Evans video is going to be. I'm going to be reacting to like 3 or 4 different ones. One of them is going to be Adam McIntyre. I think one is going to be Peter Mon. One's going to be a response that Joshua David Evans made. One's going to be Gavin. One's going to be Evangelina. We may have to cut that into parts as well. This is part 2 of the Gabby Hanna 2026 saga of weirdness. So yeah, stay tuned. There's more coming. And I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys take care of yourselves and that you have a great day, a great weekend. And yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Click the notification bell, like, comment, subscribe. Do whatever you want to do. And is there anything else? Oh, my Ko-fi. If you guys would like to buy me a coffee, it's $3. If you guys would like to buy me a coffee, no pressure at all whatsoever. The Ko-fi link is going to be in the description along with my social media links if you want to follow me there. So take it easy. I will see you in the next one and have a good one.